Good evening. More than a dozen veterans that are on board Honor Flight 38 are now on their way back from the West Coast to the West Coast after a trip of a lifetime where the heroes got to visit monuments in Washington, D.C. that stand in their tribute. Now's Danielle Kernkamp is with those veterans and has an inside look at their last day in the Capitol.
Good evening. That's right. Our third and final day here in our nation's capital was filled with peace. Last night after dinner, many of these veterans spoke, saying that they were reluctant to come here because they didn't feel they deserved it. They told me today that that's changed. They said after seeing how many people came up to thank them for their service and shake their hands and see how Washington, D.C. welcomed them here, they're very happy they came. Our day began at Arlington National Cemetery to view the changing of the guard.
Tonight, everyone remain solid and standing.
400,000 veterans are buried here. It was a somber experience filled with honor and respect. From here, we drove to the Air Force Memorial, which was built in 2006. It was World War II and Korean War veteran Bob Otto's first time seeing it.
Just being on it is an honor. Tremendous. Great. I like it. Felt it was my turn. 97 years of age. Not too many years left.
The last memorial we visited was the Marine Corps War Memorial. And just like every other stop we made on this trip, a group of students on their field trip paused to shake hands and thank the veterans on Honor Flight 38. And our final stop before the airport is right here, the Air and Space Museum, and it really was the trip of a lifetime for these veterans. Organizers are encouraging everyone to head out to Bakersfield Airport tonight at 8:30 to give them a big welcome home. In Washington, D.C., Danielle Kernkamp, 23 ABC, connecting you.
Very cool, Danielle. Looking forward to seeing them come back. A local real estate company gave back to veterans today by giving the local Veterans of Foreign Wars post a nice, colorful lift. Our local Keller Williams Realty Company is among more than 180,000 locations worldwide participating in Red Day, which stands for Renew, Energize, and Donate. Today, volunteers gathered at VFW Post 97 on South Union Avenue, painting over its green color with vibrant stars and stripes themes of red, white, and blue. Organizers say the new colors speak more to the service our local veterans have done for our community and country. The volunteers also fed the veterans a deep pit lunch. A water boil advisory notice has now been lifted for certain residents living in central Bakersfield. A boil water notice was issued on Wednesday by Cal Water and the state's Division of Drinking Water, impacting homes on East Street and Oleander. The two sections of streets are near Beale Park in the historic Oleander neighborhood. Officials say they were working to repair mains and conduct water quality tests. If you live at a home that was impacted and purchased bottled water for cooking and drinking, the water service says they'll pay you back. Take your receipts to the customer center located at 3725 South H Street for reimbursement. The numbers are in, and Give Big Kern had a record-breaking year. Organizers have given a breakdown of just how much was raised for local charities, and it seems like Kern County is just full of human kindness. Organizers say for the second year in a row, Give Big Kern broke records for the amount of money they raised and the number of volunteer hours that were pledged. In 2018, Give Big Kern raised $231,000. This year, organizers received $418,000. That's an 81% increase. And that's not all. There was also a massive jump in the number of volunteer hours pledged. Last year, people pledged 52,000 hours to charity. This year, people pledged more than 88,000 hours, a 70% increase. Just goes to show you, Kern County is overflowing with human kindness.
Well, today, President Trump announcing some points of guidance for Congress as lawmakers are trying to drop a plan to end surprise medical bills.
It's ruined people's lives. They leave a hospital with something they think is going to be routine, and they end up in court, and they end up going to court, and then they end up with lawyers' bills that are bigger than anything they could have imagined.
Now, the goal is to keep insurance companies and hospitals accountable. Now, one thing that he wants Congress to do is make sure that emergency care bills do not include out-of-network costs. If a patient doesn't agree to out-of-network costs, then they wouldn't be responsible for paying for them. Now, in cases where patients get non-emergency care, hospitals will need to provide a list of accurate prices up front. The president says the new rules should apply to all types of health insurance. Now, there was a man who spoke today who was billed $110,000 after going to the hospital for a heart attack. Now, another man was billed more than $17,000 for a urine test. It would have cost $100 if he had done it in network. Now, while we wait for new guidelines, there are a couple things that you can do to avoid surprise medical bills. And the first thing is just make sure you ask a lot of questions. Number two, nonprofit Broken Healthcare says make it clear that you do not want out-of-network providers.
Hand right in there, no out-of-network providers, not willing to pay for it. If they don't disclose to you that somebody's out-of-network, then shame on them.
Now, congressional leaders on both sides say they are ready to move on legislation. Amazon now being accused of recording and storing kids' conversations through Echo.Kids. Advocacy groups are now filing a federal complaint against the company. They say that Amazon keeps kids' data in the cloud even after parents try to delete it. Now, the groups say you can delete a child's profile by contacting customer service, and by doing that, it disables all the features that make the Echo Dot suitable for kids. An Amazon spokesperson says the company is in compliance with federal privacy laws. All right, let's get back to our lineup here, and it is a question that children unfortunately just now have to answer. Run and hide, or fight back and try to save lives. So what should we be teaching our kids about responding to school shootings? Now, GasBuddy is predicting some relief today coming soon from high gas prices. Since January, the cost has jumped and averaged 67 cents a gallon nationwide. It's the second largest rise in the last decade. Well, we should notice prices dropping, though, before Memorial Day. Now, there are some things to consider when fueling up, and it's other than price, and that includes the type of gas. But in this situation, we're not talking about like unleaded versus premium. We're talking about something called top-tier gas. AAA describes it as fuel that keeps your engine cleaner and helps it run better, improving your mileage. Now, it has a higher concentration of detergent in it. And there are about a third of gas stations that sell top-tier gas, cost about an average of 3 cents more a gallon. Now, more than 50 gas station brands sell it across the U.S. That includes Costco, Chevron, Exxon, and Shell. You want to look for the top-tier logo or download the AAA app to find them. Another thing to consider when it comes to mileage, of course, is your car. And Consumer Reports independently test for fuel efficiency. Now, other than hybrids, The best midsize car on gas was the Toyota Camry, barely beating the Honda Accord and Nissan Altima. The Honda HR-V and Subaru Crosstrek were just behind a diesel and Lexus in the small SUV category. The minivan with the best mileage that was not a hybrid is the Honda Odyssey. All right, let's turn to the Now News feed. And South Shore Furniture recalling these 3-drawer chests that were sold on Walmart, Target, and Amazon's websites. They could actually tip over and hurt somebody. You want to go to southshorefurniture.com for information on repairs and refunds. Well, some environmental concerns in Paris after the fire at Notre Dame. Police say that lead levels from the roof, they're astronomically high, and the main danger here is lead dust coating nearby homes and businesses. Well, it is unclear when the full House will vote on holding Attorney General William Barr in contempt of Congress. Democrat-led House Judiciary Committee voted in favor of that yesterday. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said they will not rush to that vote. It is over Barr not turning over the unredacted version of the Mueller report. Well, you may have seen this video online, and if not, you want to buckle up for this one. Take a look. An Oklahoma man, he is now talking about this. Yikes, left side of your screen, you see that? That was a snake going right at his head on the front porch of his friend's home. A doorbell camera capturing the entire thing. And Jarrell Haywood says he was visiting a friend, and at first he thought all of this was a joke, but it turned out it was very real.
Hit me right around my eyelid, right there. I'm not no snake lover. I never have, never will be. And to me, a snake, you know, poisonous or not, it's a snake.
Nightmare. Look at that. Well, fortunately, the snake was not poisonous. He is on some antibiotics, and he should be just fine.
That is scary. You couldn't hear me, but I was screaming about that one. Well, hundreds of job seekers came out today to Shafter for the 6th Job Fest to be held this year in Kern County. Job Fest kicked off at 9 this morning at the Shafter Youth Center and went on until noon. More than 60 employers attended, from the armed services to ag, restaurants to the energy sector, hiring for more than 800 open jobs. If you missed out on today's Job Fest, don't worry, because there's still 2 more for you to attend in the coming weeks.
The Job Fests that are coming up is the Taft Job Fest coming up on May the 23rd, and then we have the Delano Job Fest coming up on June the 13th. And so those are 2 of our final Job Fests that is going to cap up this series. And then we have coming up in October our Wasco Job Fest.
For a full list of where you can catch the last 2 Job Fests, including addresses and times, just head to our website, turnto23.com. The first game in the Pacific Division Finals between the Condors and the Gulls was a 4-overtime thriller, leading to a shocking loss in Condorstown. But last night, in Game 3, our boys returned the favor in another overtime showdown in San Diego. The Condors started their comeback late in the 3rd period when the team was trailing 6-5 with less than 20 seconds on the clock. But then the Condors take a shot and make it into the net, sending them into overtime. So cool. We were screaming about that. And then just 30 seconds into OT, the Condors strike again. Here it comes, sinking another puck and securing the victory 7-6. Game 4 is set to take place in San Diego tomorrow. Game 5 will be back in Condorstown on Saturday. There it is, that big goal. Tickets for this weekend's game are on sale right now. Start at just $12. That game is set to start at Rabobank at 7 p.m. Last night, clearly Condors did not want a quadruple overtime, so they just ended it quickly. All right, let's take a live look at downtown Bakersfield. Josh, it looks gorgeous out there, but we know that storm is on the way.
Yeah, gorgeous out there right now. That storm, like you said, Jess, is on the way, so we're going to see temperatures cooling down. Currently 78 degrees, but you can see that 3-degree difference. But then those winds, those northwest winds at 17 miles per hour right now. You can see around the county winds are building. So McFarland has seen some gusts in that 14-mile-per-hour range. Kernville 13, Tehachapi 15. Desert communities, you guys are seeing some high winds as well. Jawbone right now 26 miles per hour, Cow City at 15 miles. So those winds, though, as they build, temperatures drop. So again, in those 70s in mostly of the valley floor, except for Lamont, still at 80, 68 in Isabella, 72 in Kernville, and then we're in those 60s and 70s in our desert communities. 70 right now in Ridgecrest. But this is that system that's moving through Nevada right now from the Rockies. We're seeing those outer bands right now here in Kern County, so as those cloud coverages increase. Right now, Lake Isabella, you're seeing some scattered showers. You're seeing some scattered showers actually in Ridgecrest as well, and that's going to continue into tonight. So look, as the system moves through, Lake Isabella could see some rain and increases there at 11 p.m. Those overnight hours, it's going to continue for us throughout. So this is 6 a.m. on Friday. All over, mostly eastern parts of the county is going to see a mix of rain and thunderstorms. That's going to continue throughout the day in those morning hours and then into the afternoon hours as well. Could see some lingering rain as well on Saturday. It's good for our air quality, though. Back into that good range, AQI of 50 tomorrow. We're at 64 today, so that's the good news there. Over the next 7 days, going to see 73 degrees, again, an 80% chance of thunderstorms and showers throughout the day tomorrow, 78 on Saturday as well, then 82 for Mother's Day. So temperatures going to get back into those seasonal norms. Those 80s are going to be continuing as we go into the week. Going to still be in those upper 50s and low 60s as we go forward. Chris?
Into action, rushing towards a suspected shooter at STEM School Highlands Ranch in Colorado. These students, they saved lives and they're heroes. And as more students are unfortunately faced with these terrible situations, it brings up the question for parents about how students are taught to respond to shootings. Kamasi Aaron taking a look at the debate.
It was immediate, non-hesitation, immediate jump into action. There was no questioning, there was no hesitation, there was no looking around. It was threat noticed, action time.
Heroic student Brendan Bialy on the life or death moment he and two classmates rushed a student gunman determined to kill.
In my brain, it was complete and absolute fear, but my Kendrick went up, I went up, and it went to it.
What did you do?
Got on the gunman, and I tried my best to stop it as I could.
18-year-old Kendrick Castillo died in the fight, but many of his classmates are alive because of his great sacrifice.
I love him, and he's a hero. He always will be. But there's another part of you that wishes he would have just turned and ran, retreated, hid.
I was hiding in the corner, and they were right outside the door. I had my hand on the metal baseball bat, just in case, because I was going to go down fighting if I was going to go down.
12-year-old Nate Hawley was ready to join the fight, too. It's heartbreaking to hear kids this young ready to risk their lives.
There isn't really a specific training. It's use what you have in front of you to try to intercede and to try to survive the event.
Dr. Amy Klinger, co-founder of the Educators School Safety Network, supports teaching kids to run or hide in danger. She says because school shootings are statistically unlikely, teaching kids to fight could be detrimental.
You're putting a lot of pressure on kids to say, you need to be able to do, what a policeman does. You need to be able to overcome this adult, or you need to be able to save everyone. That's a very difficult thing to say to kids.
Instead, Dr. Klinger says focus on empowering students to make the best decision for themselves in the moment.
The heroes that we're talking about would have been heroic and done what they have done, whether they had direct training in fighting a gunman or not.
I got to see two heroes, two regular high school kids, two really awesome people jump into action without any hesitation, and I was more than lucky to join them.
Still, many wish they didn't have to be put in the position in the first place. I'm Kamasi Aaron reporting.
All right, Kamasi, thank you. Let's start the Now newsfeed. And if you cook with Pam, listen to this one, because 8 burn victims are suing the cooking spray maker, saying that they were injured when cans exploded in their kitchens. Now, the suit says that there was a venting system on the bottom of certain cans that made them explode, and the maker of Pam says it has phased out the venting system on their product. Well, a Cubs fan banned from Wrigley Field after hand gesture that some now associate with white power. Now, the fan flashed an OK sign behind a black TV reporter during a broadcast. That gesture has recently been associated with the white power movement. The Cubs say the fan could face charges if he ever tries to enter the ballpark again. Well, you can definitely call this one true fake news, because a meme on the internet getting people really riled up, claiming that the mayor of New York is banning hot dog sales because of climate change. Now, our partners at PolitiFact say the city is phasing out buying processed meat, but it is not putting hot dog stands out of business. Facebook flagged the post as part of its effort to fight fake news. Now, finally in our lineup today, it can be really hard to know which beauty products are worth the extra money, which stuff that you can get for paying less. We're going to get some advice about what you can get at the drugstore that is just as good as the high-end stuff. Now, we are all about saving you money, and with all the beauty products that are out there, it can be really difficult to know what's worth spending the cash on and what's just good enough at the drugstore. Amy Taylor's here to help us out with this one.
We all want to look beautiful, we all want to look fabulous, but we don't want to spend an arm and a leg. Jeray Banks, beauty expert, is here to show us the products that we don't have to go and splurge on.
Yes, exactly. I'm here to let you guys know all the confusion on social media. It's been over here messing with your guys' minds. You don't have to go to the department stores for that A-plus celebrity look. The first thing that you don't want to splurge on is going to be your brushes.
Jeray says most makeup brushes, including the luxury brands, use synthetic hair. So save your money.
Number 2, we don't want to be splurging on foundation. A lot of these ingredients are the exact same.
If you've never tried setting spray, Jeray says start at the drugstore.
Wet n Wild actually makes some $5 setting sprays that are great from hydrating to oil control to even just to everyday elongated wear. These guys are going to make sure that your makeup lasts throughout the day, and it's also going to make sure that you have a beautiful glow all day as well.
Next on the no splurge list, cleanser.
A lot of the luxury products that you're actually buying, you're paying for more of the fragrance that's in it. You're paying for the signature ingredients from that company. So why go ahead and over splurge on a little bit of a Chanel fragrance in your cleanser when you can have squeaky clean skin for the way lower price?
And finally,
the least amount of money you need to spend on anything would be mascara. It's the exact same ingredients once again as your favorite expensive mascara.
Here's a secret. A lot of your favorite beauty brands are actually owned by the same company. Take L'Oreal. They own Lancome, Maybelline, Giorgio Armani, and Yves Saint Laurent. You're ultimately paying for packaging.
You're not always wanting to see all of the glitz and glamour of the packaging. I just want the stuff to work.
I'm Annie Taylor reporting.
All right, Annie, thank you. And look, a lot of us are going to be taking mom out to eat for Mother's Day this weekend, but would you be able to go through the entire meal without using your phone? Well, tomorrow we're going to tell you about the challenge from restaurants around the country to get you to put your phone down.
Love that. Well, coming up after the break, we're talking about the storm that is on the way. A gorgeous sunset, but we see those clouds moving in. An update next.
Well, welcome back. So, yeah, that storm system that we've been following, it's cooling us down. Currently 78 degrees out there, but you can see that 3-degree difference in the increase in wind. The increase in wind, that's what's cooling us down. But we are expected to see thunderstorms and scattered showers as this system makes its way into the region. We're seeing the outer bands right now, but really tonight into the overnight hours, should see some rain and that all those wet conditions, moving out those dry weather conditions that we were experiencing over the last several days. So that's going to be overall good for us. It's going to improve our air quality as well. Looking at an AQI tomorrow, back into that good range, but you can see right now those winds are starting to pick up in the valley, 17-mile-per-hour gusts, but really around our desert community, desert neighbors, Jawbones 26 miles per hour, Cal City at 16 miles per hour. But yeah, going to be a wet one Friday and Saturday.
Yep, keep your umbrellas and your jackets handy. That's going to do it for us here on the Now Bakersfield. We'll see you back here tonight at 11.